The total is $1.34 million. This is a strong demand zone, but could it still fall to this level? I think it will not drop below the mid to high $60,000 to the low $70,000. I initially bought $500,000 and I plan to buy up to $5 million in total, divided into 10 purchases. Now, regarding Ripple, I initiated my short position in this area. I went short because I observed a triangular consolidation as wave 4 and anticipated a final upward wave. Thus, I shorted during the uptrend. Since Ripple reached a new high, we were uncertain about how far it would rise. I can't recall exactly where, but it was mentioned in a previous broadcast. I added an additional position, then doubled and tripled my position, and eventually took profits. In doing so, I raised my average entry price and secured profits. Ultimately, I predicted that the price would drop to the lower boundary of this demand zone and exited when it did. Before going live, I calculated the total profit to be $1.34 million, which at today's exchange rate translates to approximately 2.07 billion won. When I did the broadcast back then, I was expecting the price to go down. At that time, I was already in a short position. After the price dropped, the ABC rebound occurred, and I mentioned that I entered the short position, roughly around the Fibonacci 0.5 level. If it followed this ABC pattern and dropped further, I planned to take another half profit here. This was part of my analysis from the previous broadcast, and I was also holding a short position. But if that had actually happened, there would have been quite a profit, right? The regret is that I got a bit greedy, so I took profit here because when I looked at the 15-minute chart, it seemed like there was an impulse move. So I took profit here, and when the rebound came, I planned to re-enter a short position. However, I also wanted to capture a small long profit in this range, so I switched my position. But as the price dropped, I ended up cutting the long position and taking a loss. So as I've mentioned several times, even if you get the analysis right and enter at the exact point, if you execute the trade poorly, it can still end in a loss. And even if you don't get the analysis exactly right, if you trade well and make smart decisions, you can still make a profit. And now the market can move in various ways. It might rally up like this, and then it could drop back to this demand zone. It might rally and break through this level. An ABC pattern could also form. It may appear as though it will surpass the high, but then encounter resistance and decline again. This is the current demand zone. There have been multiple instances of support here. This is likely a strong support zone, especially if considered a demand zone. So when the price drops, whether it finds support again is uncertain. However, given the numerous support levels already identified, it is generally expected that further support will emerge. Anyway, it's reassuring to know there's a support zone, but if the price falls below it, a significant drop is likely. Because the support that was once trusted is broken, a sharp drop will occur, and the well-known head and shoulders pattern that many of you are familiar with will form. If that breaks, I believe the price will drop rapidly and smoothly to the $70,000 range. I tried drawing a long-term trend line, but nothing suitable emerged. Even if it hits resistance here, it will eventually break and decline again. If the current trend starts and ends here, a corrective move will break the trend, and a new trend will form. So what appears to be support or a channel below this trend line might not hold much significance or meaning. I believe the medium-term outlook is bearish, and since this is a strong demand zone, it seems likely that the price will drop to this level. I expect it might not fall below the mid $60,000 to low $70,000. I don't find Bitcoin dominance analysis very reliable. People monitor Bitcoin dominance to better time the market, wondering if or when an altcoin season will arrive. For that to be accurate, there must be a firm directional bias in Bitcoin. For example, if Bitcoin is trending upward and its dominance declines, this implies that altcoins will surge if that precondition is met. How should one analyze Bitcoin dominance? Without that precondition, dominance analysis is meaningless. That's an objective fact, no matter what any foreign analyst, domestic YouTuber, or other source claims. Simply looking at dominance to predict if or when alt season will come is ultimately futile. Oh, Trump coin has dropped significantly. When I first bought it, the price was around $27. It might be a good time to buy again now. Last time, I told you to buy in at least 7 to 10 installments. So I took my first position and I plan to buy again after the broadcast. That will be my second entry. I'm planning to accumulate further. If Bitcoin drops to the $70,000 range, Meme coins like Trump coin are expected to plunge significantly. And then I would focus more on buying at those low levels, right? I purchased $500,000 worth, and I plan to accumulate a total of $5 million in 10 installments. Trump coin is an extremely volatile asset. By employing a DCA strategy, buying repeatedly at lower prices when the market dips, we lower our average cost, spread the risk through multiple entries at the bottom, and secure a stable position aiming for significant gains when the market surges.